Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Episode 147 of The Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is Jesse Chiu. We're also brought to you by Audible. Get a free month and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/wild. Welcome to episode 147 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dills, and with me is Mr. Magpie.
Yo, what's good?
So we have a few things to talk about this week. We have an update on account security features, some Bounty Hunter beta changes, but also the Halloween 2019 event gets dropped on us. Jagex, another message about unofficial clients.
Yep.
And on top of the Halloween event, we get the mobile anniversary, the first year of the release of old school RuneScape mobile.
Yep. Winter 2018, baby.
Yeah, it's finally here.
Very nice.
Yeah, before we get into all of that, though, Magpie, how has your week been? I think it's been a little over a week, but what have you been up to?
Yeah. Let's see. I bought Modern Warfare, the new Call of Duty.
Modern Warfare 4?
Well, it's like a reboot, so it's like technically just Modern Warfare, but yeah, it's like
it's the fourth one.
It's the fourth.
It's Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a reboot. That was a good game. I really like that one.
Yeah, so they came out with a remastered version that I didn't play a few years ago, but this is like a totally new game, brand new story. It's a reboot, so there are some characters that are in from the old one that it's like their stories never happened or some shit. I don't know. I didn't even touch the campaign. I'm more of a multiplayer kind of guy. But dude, you know what? Like, I need to stop playing the game, actually, because I've realized, like, it's so frustrating the way it is now. It's not doing me any favors for my mental health. Like, I go to play it, and I come out feeling worse about myself and just, like, hating everything.
Why?
It's just, like, I don't know how into Call of Duty you are. Basically, the last few games, like, for the last
I haven't
6
played
years.
it in years, but I used to be big into it. But this was like Xbox 360 days.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. Like Modern Warfare 3 was the last one that hooked me in, which Modern Warfare 3 is better than Modern Warfare 2 at me. That's a unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I didn't play the third one. The second one is when I stopped in Black Ops 1.
It's very like similar to those games because the last 6 years it's all been like jumpsuits and weird like space robot battle royale
right,
stuff.
with advanced warfare. It's like Halo almost.
Yeah, exactly. But no, this is like right back to Modern Warfare 2, like very tactical, slow paced. So I like saw it, I was hooked. And you know, I just got on with a bunch of friends. It is like totally the opposite direction now. They've like swung the pendulum around to the opposite. I don't know how like in touch with like the gaming community as a whole is, but most people have just been railing it for being like claymores everywhere. There's one super overpowered weapon. It's like a shotgun. It's a double-barreled shotgun that like snipes people across the map and one hit kills them at close range. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, basically. And it's just like a really frustrating time because you can't run and gun. You can't like play aggressive. Most of the games you play, like the time runs out before people hit the score because everyone's camping in a corner. So it's just like frustratingly, the meta has shifted towards sitting in a corner with a shotgun just waiting for people to run through your door.
Camping is the new meta.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is totally the opposite direction of everything else.
See, it's been so long since I've actually played them. I have no idea how much they've changed the game.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people playing the mobile Call of Duty.
Yeah, I've never given that a shot, but I know it's like pretty big now as well. I mean, mobile games are here to stay. Like, hopefully we get with very fitting again, like bringing this right back around to old school. That we have the 1 year mobile anniversary, and we're talking about this. Like, old school represents like hopefully a new shift of mobile games where it's like they actually put in a lot of effort to deliver a product that isn't based on just like buying microtransactions and stuff.
Yeah, hopefully people realize, like, I totally get that some mobile games you have to have a lot of microtransactions. It's just a lot of people don't want to spend $1 on a game, which kind of sucks, but I totally get it. But it does seem like developers are noticing, at least in the past couple of years, that hey, if you make a good game and you put like a $10 price tag on it, there's still going to be a lot of people who buy it if the game's good enough.
Yeah.
And then also, like, if a game's well done enough, you can put in some microtransactions and it kind of works. Like, I play on and off this game called Brawl Stars, which is like a very watered down MOBA, but it's kind of a lot of fun, and it's very pay to win. But it's you can convince yourself that it's not.
Yeah. To this day, like the most gaming activity I've ever done on my phone, maybe with the exclusion of like old school now, is like playing DS games on it. Like I used to love playing Nintendo DS games on like an emulator, but now I have like, with all the Google rewards stuff, I have an Android, so I get like the surveys to fill out, and they give me like 10 cents here and there, and I actually have like $16 or so saved up. And
wow.
I'm just waiting for the day where it's like a good enough game comes out to where it's actually worth me spending money, because at this point I might just buy bonds with them and like use them on membership or something. But
that's what I was wanting to do as well, but for some reason I don't. We can get to this in a bit, but maybe let's open that can of worms now. I don't really play mobile RuneScape, but I do play a lot of mobile games. I'm just pulling up my phone now, and I got a I got a shit ton of them. I got like 20 games on my phone, and a lot of them I spent real life money. I didn't spend real life money, but I spent Google Rewards money, which is still real money. But I spent a lot of money on games that I could have bought on bonds, but I just don't care as much.
Yeah, no, and I get that, because like mobile, I think we're talking about this like, and maybe we should talk about this later on, but mobile, like you've mentioned before, it's a little bit cumbersome and it's not really suited for most things in the game. And
I think like my standards for like at least my ability to play, it's on the PC, and so if I'm doing bossing, I get frustrated when I can't perform as well on my phone.
Yeah.
And I think also the fact that when I'm playing RuneScape, I'm usually like watching something on the side, or sometimes even playing another game. I can't really do that on my phone. It's like I can listen to a podcast. That's
yeah. We should probably park this conversation until we actually like talk about mobile, because it would probably be a good idea to like give a year-long review of mobile.
Well, we'll shit on mobile right now, like we just did, and then we'll come back and then sprinkle it with lots of compliments, because it is an awesome.
Yeah.
It was an awesome update to have. But yes, we were talking about Call of Duty. So yeah, you've been sucked into that game. So you find yourself you're addicted to it, but you're not having fun when you play?
I wouldn't say I'm addicted. I'm still like in that stage where I'm like actively giving it a shot, and I'm like improving and stuff. Like I used to be a good player back in the day, but this is the first one I have on PC. I'm not as good on PC as I am on console, and like because everyone is just camping in a corner, I'm like not doing as well as I would be doing, even though like I don't expect to be doing as well because it's a new platform for me. I'm still going to use like mouse and keyboard when it comes to Call of Duty, but I'm waiting for them to update it and stuff, and I'm hoping that they do, because it has a lot of potential. It has a lot of potential to be like a great game.
Do you find that as you've gotten older, like your ability to play those quick reflex games like Call of Duty? Like, I'm not as good as I used to be, and I try and I can't ever get there. My motor skills are gone.
You don't know if it's like old age or just like the games are getting faster.
That, or it's like, well, I haven't played in such a long time, so maybe that's it. But at the same time, I when I used to play League of Legends, I'd follow it, and it was like when you're in your early 20s, you're at your prime. You know what I mean? Like playing
Yeah.
League of Legends, because it requires such quick reflexes. It's almost like being a porn star, because once you hit like the age of 30, it's like, well, you're a little too old to be in the game anymore.
You could have just said a regular athlete because that would have been just as applicable, but
Porn star? You saying porn stars aren't athletes, man?
no, I'm just saying, like, it would have been a more comparable, more relevant
Yeah, fair
comparison. But last week was October. Of course, it was October, but I mean, it was Halloween, so I went out for dinner with a buddy.
Nice.
My Halloween was pretty low key. Like, I just spent it with some friends, but I went out for dinner with a buddy, and I came back. She was like on the phone, and she just told me, like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I said, "I'm just gonna like go to this like comedy special thing." And she was like, "No, my friend has free tickets to this club or whatever." And so she was like, "I know you're a gamer." She didn't say that, obviously. Of course, I wouldn't give that away, but she was like, you live pretty low key, so let's go like out to the club. And that was like, it's not really my zone, not really my comfort zone, but it was pretty nice. Like,
Not much of a not big in the club scene.
no, but I came to like think about it. I'm one of those guys who's just like I'll go to a club, I'll enjoy myself, but I'm one of those people who like each person has a type at the club or like at a nightclub or a dance club or something. Like I'm the wanderer, so you just like find me walking around like, and I didn't know this about myself until I realized after the fact that like every time I'd go and meet up with the friends who like I was with, they'd be like, "Oh, there you are. Where have you been?" And like I realized like after the 6th time, it's probably a me issue.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know where I've been.
Yeah, but it was nice. That's pretty much it.
What,
Like,
you just like wander the club, like meeting people, or do you just
well, I just like, it was one of those nights where it's like the perfect kind of club night where some parts of it are like hazy memories and other parts of it are like from what you remember it was enjoyable kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
It was pretty chill.
That's good.
But RuneScape related, I remember talking to you about my pet grinds. I was doing a Theater of Blood run with some buddies, and due to some technical issues, I got booted out of their party. We won't go into the specifics, but I was like, okay, that's fine, you guys. I'm not gonna, like, it's not sour grapes. You guys continue, get the kill count, whatever. I'm gonna go to Zulrah, get the pet, whatever. Everyone's gonna be happy. I go to Zulrah, I get the pet. They were pretty tilted. I think they wiped, and I was just sitting there laughing.
At least one of us are happy. How many kills did you do in the time that they were doing Theater of Blood?
Just like 6 or 7, like one trip maybe.
Jeez.
Well,
that's sick. That's an awesome pet. What's your kill count?
You're gonna hate me for this. A lot of people hate me for this, but my Zulrah collection log, I have 1,920 Zulrah kills, and I have everything. I have both mutagens.
Damn.
I have the pet. I have the jar.
And if I'm not mistaken, the mutagens are harder to get than the pet, right?
Well, so the mutagens are like 1 in 6,000 drop rate,
Yeah.
but because you get 2 rolls on Zulrah's drop table, it's like 1 in 3,300 each. Because you get 2 chances. But the pet rolls on its own chance, so that's a flat one, 4,000 rate. So
Interesting. Okay.
the mutagens, to get both of them, it's around like 6,000 kills. To get the pet, it's 4,000. I have all of them in under 2,000, so
Wow. That's
don't hate me.
lucky. That's good.
Yeah. They hate us because they ain't us, what can I say?
Yeah, that's right. Well, just wait till you're on that corp pet grind.
Oh man, I could tell already, like, I'm going to be drawing the worst pets. I'm going to be drawing the Inferno. I had an Inferno task. I died really dumb ways, like at wave 60. I was like, this is probably penance for sucking all the RNG out of Zulrah. And sucking in game as well. But that's pretty much it. Like, other than that, I've just been farming tasks for the Inferno. I've only gotten 1 task, and now I'm on the Thermi grind. I have like a few dozen left to kill, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not bad. I like I don't mind Thermi. It's kind of it's a pretty chill boss.
Yeah, it's nice.
So since you have your Inferno Cape, and if people don't know, you have your Inferno Cape, which is what allows you to get your Slayer task. Are you only doing the Slayer task now? I guess, are you just doing that for the pet?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like you don't have
really
desire to have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have the Slayer cape and everything, but I know like people who, do a lot of like skill training and like max out their combat stats and get the Inferno cape before 9-9 Slayer. They go back and they still do it because it's really good Slayer experience. But
true. Yeah.
For me, it's just the pet role, like because in it's the same as the fight caves when you're killing Jad or whatever. Just like when you do the Inferno, and you're on task, every monster you kill gives you Slayer experience based on their combat level. So it's like it all adds up to that final payoff when you kill Jad and you get like 15k experience or something. I think when you kill Zuck, you get like 100k experience.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And are you able to trade in the cape similar to Jad to get the pet or the chance to get the pet?
Yeah, you can still do that.
You can gamble the Inferno cape?
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. How's your Halloween been? How's
my Halloween was pretty... Sorry, say it again?
I was just saying, how's your grinds going?
Well, Halloween, that whole IRL stuff, just school. Halloween was pretty tame. We shut off the lights and made sure no... And it was actually terrible weather for most of Canada, actually, for Halloween. Montreal, I don't even know how you can do this, but they postponed Halloween to November 1st. So apparently they don't...
Okay.
Whatever. But it's pretty shitty weather.
That seems a little weird. But...
Yeah, I don't know. They tried. I'm not sure how well that worked out, but I haven't really been up too much. Just school and work. Just been busy with all that stuff and grinding away. And RuneScape. Well, but before I get into RuneScape, I haven't played. The only other game I've been playing is I got the Oculus Rift back in like June or July. I think it was July. Mm-hmm. And I play that on and off, but I just started playing Skyrim VR.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like I had it for a while and I played it, but the graphics are super shitty that it kind of like it was kind of hard to play because everything just kind of flickered and everything seemed to vibrate. But then I was like thinking like, oh, I kind of want to play it again. But I never tried playing VR with mods, so I've been downloading a bunch of mods for it. And it's actually smoothed things out a lot. So that's a lot of fun. But
yeah,
you actually have to like physically, like you have to be standing when you're playing. And like everything, you're slashing with your, as if you actually had a sword, or you're pulling back a bow. And if you're trying to sneak around, you actually have to crouch. So I can only play for like an hour and a bit before I start getting tired. And I need to like take a break. But
damn,
that's been a lot of fun.
That reminds me of like my old roommate used to play Beat Saber, I think, where he was just like, it was set up in our living room and I'd come home from class or something and he'd just be like sweating his ass off, like out of breath, just like playing. And you could see like his screen on his desktop and stuff, and I'd be like, damn, this is a new level of sweaty gamer right here. But
he's putting in some work. I love Beat Saber. That game is great.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I really wanted to get back into Skyrim because I just bought the special edition because it was on sale. And
sick.
Because like my internet isn't as good here, like I haven't been able to download all the mods. But my favorite, I'm one of those Skyrim players who just like spends 6 hours like installing mods and fixing issues, like incompatible mods and stuff, like, and then like takes a break and comes back, does another like 6 hours, like for like a whole week straight, and like I perfect the game and I'm like perfect, and I load my game up and it's like gorgeous, stunning graphics, and then I like take 4 screenshots and close the application. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've done that so many times. I'll like, because you can download so many cool apps or so many cool mods that really like custom the play style. Like I was having like a temperature mod where you had to like, if it's too cold, you had to build a shelter, and you had to have a fire. Make sure you're wearing warm clothing when you're up in the really cold climates. And I was like, this is sweet. But then I'm like, I don't really feel like playing it. So yeah, I would do this. I do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
But I think this time it's been a bit different just because like with VR, it just feels it's fun to kind of really immerse yourself into it and pretend like you're actually there, and it's kind of you can kind of lose yourself, which is it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skyrim's such a good game. There's a reason I've bought it, and it sounds like you've bought it a bunch of different times too.
Yeah, exactly. I bought it like 4 times in total, I think. But it's one of those games that like just keeps coming back. It's like a Hydra, not like Hydra in the game, but like, you know, you think you've killed it and like 2 more versions come out. And you like think you've uninstalled it. And like there's the VR and the special edition that come out. And you're like, God damn it. It's like that Key and Peele.
I think it's like one of the
Key and Peele skit.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like the perfect. It has its problems, but I think it's like the perfect RPG game because like I'll go on there and I'm like, I want to make this type of character, and I'll every time I make I mean, I never get anywhere in the file. I get like 20 hours max before I get bored and quit. But I'll be like, I'm gonna make a warrior, and he's gonna be like an evil warrior, and I'll just fucking kill anyone I run into. Like I really try to put the role playing in RPG.
Yeah.
And I think Skyrim's really good for that because it's so open and it's it's really cool. But
it is a landmark game of our time for sure.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. But yeah, besides all of that, what did I do in RuneScape? Not a whole lot. Some Slayer. I got a Zami task right now. We'll have a Greater Demons task, but I've been doing Zami, but I haven't really been playing a whole lot. Some of it's for school, but I also think part of it is that I've been bored, and this has been going on since the summer. Like I've been doing a lot of AFK skills while I did other things, and I talked in the past how I'm on the money hunt grind, where it's like, oh, I just at this point I don't need things, I just need money now to buy better equipment.
Yeah,
and sure I can grind out 99s, but there's no actual reason why I would need to like max my account completely just for the fact to say that it's maxed. But I don't know how much of a desire I actually have for that. But I just noticed I haven't been playing a whole lot. I haven't been doing any PVM. I haven't been doing any raids. And I think I'm just bored of my account. Like I'm at the stage where it's like the grinds are pretty intense. They take a long time just to grow a level. It takes a while. If I need to buy any item, it's like at like over 50 mil. So then I'm like, okay, that's getting 50 mil can be quite the grind. And there's no like specific item grinds I need. There's pets, but that like to grind out a pet, that's a huge, that can be a huge grind. So I think part of it is like I'm not bored of RuneScape because I still want to play it, but I'm bored of my account because I'll log on. I'm like, now what? I don't know what else to do. And I'll go kill some Callisto. I might go do a few, whatever my task is. I might go do a farm run, but I'm just like doing these short burst, like little tasks.
Yeah.
And it was after we finished recording last week. We were talking afterwards. I can't remember what the conversation was about, but I was like, shit, I want to start playing my pure again. Like I kind of want to get back into PKing because that's just not something I do ever. And I'm not going to do it on my main because that's going to cost me a lot of money, but I could play it on my pure. So I booted up the pure and I bought a bond, and I've been kind of playing that. Not a whole lot, but I've been playing it while I'm AFKing things on my main. And that's been kind of fun as well, but there's a whole bunch of shit that I have to do before I can even PK on it, before I feel comfortable PKing. And the reason I bring that up is because I think I'm really excited for next week's update.
Which is this coming next week?
It's big for me. I don't know, for most people they might not care, but it's the Twisted Leagues. The seasons are coming out.
Yeah.
So that's coming out on the 14th. And I want to make an Iron Man really badly, but again, I don't have a whole lot of time, so I might not make much progress, which is what it is. Plus, with Group Iron Man coming out, I like bossing, but solo bossing is where I get kind of bored. So Group Iron Man might be great, but at the same time, with the Twisted Leagues coming out next week, I'm kind of really looking forward to that because it'll give me a chance to I'll still be progressing on my main account. It's just going to be doing something different, which I'm kind of excited. It's going to be, I think it's going to feel refreshing. I don't know if I'm going to actually enjoy it, but
yeah,
I'm thinking it'll be refreshing to be able to play my account, but I'm going to be able to start from the beginning again. Just, it'll be different.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Twisted Leagues is like a lot of different strategies can go into play, and I don't think it's even feasible, no matter how no lifey you get, to get all the elite tasks, where it's like you have to try and max in Zaya, and then there's one where you get like 250 Chambers of Zaya kill count, and I can't remember the other one, but it was something ridiculous as well. But it's nice because you can kind of look at the tiers, and everybody can go for the beginning tier for all of them, and most people will be able to go for 1, 2, 3 of the next tier, and then if you're really interested, you grind out like the hard tier for 1 or 2 of them if you want to dedicate your account to Twisted Leagues, and then the real like try hard people will go for the elite tasks. And I look at them and I'm like, there is no way that they're designing these without streamers in mind. Like the elite tasks.
Oh yeah.
Just they're ridiculous. Some of them.
And I feel like they're trying to. It might I might play it and I might come back the week afterwards and be like, you know what? I thought this game mode would be different, but it definitely is for the tryhards. Like I'm not gonna be able to ever get. I'm not gonna make enough progress to make me to satisfy. Playing this game mode. Yeah. But the idea of it is I'm kind of thrilled for it. I think it'll be fun, and I don't know how long the leagues are going to go for. I'm sure they're going to break it down with the devlog that gets released that week. But yeah, as you mentioned, maxing your account, that's I'm like, how many years are we into this game? 6, and I still haven't maxed my account, so yeah. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited to see what they bring out with it.
It is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. That's my week in a nutshell. Should we hop into what we got going on in the news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first things first, we'll do account security features. It's a status update. And they said it's been a while since our last update, which we talked about back at the end of June. It's going way far back. Man, time is flying. Holy crap. All right, so here's an update of where we're at. So starting with authenticator delay. Since the last blog, many of you have told us that you want additional security for the authenticator. A common request is the introduction of a delay. This would give you the chance to block any attempts to remove your authenticator by someone with access to your email. However, introducing a delay would also create a number of issues. 1, it requires you to respond to any alerts during the delay period. 2, any email alert by design relies on an email that's being sent to your compromised email account. Obviously, whomever has control of your email account could easily delete this. If your email alert is deleted, you risk missing the alert should you happen to not log in during the delay period. There's the added complication of the email potentially being sent to your junk or spam folder. And finally, if a hijacker gets into your account and sets their own authenticator delay, it would keep you out of the game for even longer. Oh my god, I can't tell if I'm just stupid or if that was a very confusing way of explaining half of that.
Yeah. No, I think it's just Jagex can't explain things concisely.
I'm reading it, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I have to reread that over again. Anyways, they ended off with, so to avoid these flaws, we're taking a different approach to improve authenticator security with backup codes. Now, what's a backup code? Well, we intend to introduce a backup code system. This means you'll receive a backup code during authenticator setup that you'll need to write this down and keep in a safe place. This will be used to remove your authenticator if you don't have This will be used to authenticator if you don't have access to it anymore, and prevents compromised emails being used to steal your accounts. Your backup code will only be used on our website to remove your authenticator. Be sure to keep your backup code safe. We've chosen this approach over a delay for a number of reasons. 1, you won't need to intervene to prevent your authenticator from being removed. 2, hijackers that don't have your code will not be able to remove your authenticator. 3, if you lose access to your authenticator, your backup code can be used to restore access. And 4, if someone gains access to your email address, your RuneScape account will remain secure. And finally, 5, other companies have successfully used the system, giving us a clearer idea of what the right solution looks like. In preparation for backup codes, we have already added authenticator checks for all website logins. If you lose your backup code, you can get a new one when you log in and pass your authenticator check. If you don't like the idea of using backup codes and you are 100% confident in the security of your email address, then you can continue using the old email method to remove an authenticator, although obviously we do not recommend it. What do you think of the backup code?
So, I think this is something that we've seen before. I know Sony does this for PS4. For their two-factor authenticator, they use text messaging, and then if you don't have access to your phone or whatever, you change number, they give you a list of codes that you can put in. I think Steam does the same too, but I could be mistaken. So that goes to 0.5, which they say like other companies have used it. It could work. It could work. I don't see how hackers could compromise if you keep them offline somewhere, like on a notepad or something. That would be a pretty safe thing to do. I know that when I was a kid, if I had a big brother who would want to hack my account for some reason, he'd be like, "Give me the codes, kid." But
and he would get them.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea overall.
I think having a backup code, I don't see a problem with it. It seems like it's a good solution. And I'm going to address this in a second. Oh, they address it, but at the same time, I'm not always the most confident myself with writing down a code and keeping it somewhere without ever losing it.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest when it comes to that. I've may or may not have lost some Bitcoin because I can't find my password or my code. It wasn't a lot,
God.
but still.
Bitcoin's going up this week as well.
Oh no, what's it at? I try not to look at it because I was like, oh, look at this. It's at USD. It is at 9,300. Oh wow, it has gone up. See, I bought it at 8,500. All right. Anywho, back to what happens if you lose your code. It says here, once live, if you lose your authenticator and backup code, it will be possible to request help from player support. No!
Oh, there you go. Good fight here.
We are doomed.
You're pretty much screwed at that point.
It will be possible to request help from our player support, but this process will be very strict and require very clear information to ensure that you are the owner of the account. No request will be actioned for at least 72 hours. An authenticator removal request to a player support will be a last resort. You will not be able to rely on this service to manage your authenticator. It will mean you aren't able to access your account for a minimum of 72 hours, and the amount of evidence you will need to prove you're the account owner is very high. Why do I get the feeling we're going to start seeing tons of pop-ups on Reddit of people being like, my account was hacked, the dude just messaged player support and asked him to remove it from my account, and they did, and he knew my password, and that's how he got a hold of my account.
Yeah, well, I think I'm talking hypotheticals here. If I were to lose my account, or if I were to be devising the system for Jagex, it would have to be from what they make it sound like, it needs to be you have an airtight case. This is your account. You have your original username, maybe the exact year, date that you created your account. You talk about I used to be in this CC, or I don't even think they can check that. But these are the old passwords I used to use, and this is the last IP I signed in from, something like that. Where I don't think it'll be hey Jagex, it's Zezima. Can I have my account back? My old school name is
yeah,
Zezima.
for
Maybe a lot more just like people befriending you in game, like, yo, so what's your mother's maiden name? While you're like pudding or something.
We're back to the recovery questions.
Oh,
Full
yeah.
circle. So on to the development schedule. It says they plan to add backup codes to the authenticator in 2020. We encourage everyone to update their authenticators to add a backup code as soon as that is released, making it easier to remove your authenticator to a new device if you change phones, and lastly, continuing the password complexity work. Anyways, it is possible that we may alter the schedule. And thank you from the Jagex team.
Yep.
So cool, backup codes. That seems interesting. You never played World of Warcraft, right?
No, I've never touched that game.
There's I remember when you got an authenticator from, this is like years ago. You would pay $5 or whatever, and they'd send you a dongle, and it'd be like a little thing you'd have to keep by your computer that was like constantly refreshing the authenticator codes. I always thought it was so weird, like, oh, should I have to keep this like little thing on my keychain and keep it on me?
Yeah.
And while we're talking about authenticators, and again, mobile, is there any easy way to put your authenticator onto your mobile account?
You mean like to put my app?
Yeah, I have to open up the app on my phone, and then if I'm playing on playing RuneScape on my phone, I'm constantly minimizing one and opening the other, going back and forth. But since you only have like 10 seconds to put it in,
yeah, exactly. It's the
rough.
Worst. Yeah, it's like
Okay,
a
so it's
race
not just
against
me.
time at that point.
Oh man, okay. So as long as it's not just me, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's authenticator stuff. Seems good to me. Hopefully that'll. That's not going to stop people from losing their accounts because people are just dumb. Maybe less people. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Magpie, I guess I'll throw it to you because we got our Halloween update. How's that looking? How's that dev blog looking?
So up next is the Halloween update. I guess I'll take that baton and run with it. The Halloween 2019 event and Bounty Hunter beta changes. This was the most recent update in the game, and it says Spooktober is here, which means it's time for the annual Halloween event. You can find this by going north of Lumbridge, next to the cow pen. There are a couple of goblins in bed sheets that you talk to start the event. Again, if you remember almost a year ago, I would say they had a poll where it was like, should we start giving less attention to the random events? And they made them a lot shorter. So this one is, again, really short. You start it where the holiday icon on the minimap shows. There's a diagram with the holiday icon in the dev blog, and also you can see it in the game. It's a little gift icon right next to the cow field. But there are some words from the developer, from Mod Flippy, who I think is new to content development. So I'm just going to read this verbatim. He says, "This year's Halloween event is my first project on the Old School team. It has been an incredible experience learning how Old School is built and actually designing my own piece of content. Before I started the design work for this, I asked myself why I started playing RuneScape back in 2006. I wanted the update to feel similar to events and quests I experienced when I was younger, while adding my own personality and showing some of what you can expect from me in the future. I'm currently working on leagues, which I've been very passionate about since I joined the team. I believe this update will bring a breath of fresh air to the game while still honoring its roots. We now have endless opportunities to challenge your theory, crafting, game knowledge, and mechanical skills in interesting ways. I hope you enjoy this year's Halloween event and its rewards. I'm incredibly proud and grateful to be creating content for this game and its community. Signed, Mod Flippy." So, have you had a chance, Dills, to play the Halloween event yet?
I have. How about you?
Yeah, I have as well.
What were your thoughts?
I liked it. I think, like, reading off of what Mod Flippy said, I think he did a really good job kind of keeping it true to Old School's roots. I thought it was pretty funny. I think, like, there used to be a big trend in seeing, like, fake player NPCs, if that makes sense, in a lot of old gameplay moments. Like, do you know if you talk
Yeah.
to like the wise old man, you get a cutscene and there's like fake players in there and stuff. So that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did see where it was coming from there. I liked it. I thought it was pretty short to the point. I wish they would make them a little bit less fetch questy, even if they were short. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to think about what else they can do without making it like a really tough puzzle or like high skill level requirements, which I guess fetch quests is not the end of the world, but it was a pretty nice in terms of like the story and stuff. I thought it was pretty funny without giving you too much of it away.
I thought it was good for what it was. He did a good job on it. Personally, it made me like miss the old days where they went all out for these events, where it's like this grand, I don't know, a grand event. I don't know. It kind of it was good, but like, yeah, I just kind of missed like, and a lot of games do it too, and RuneScape used to do it all the time, where it's like Halloween's like this big event, you know, you go talk to all these different NPCs, they go trick-or-treating, maybe get a little loot bag that you could open it up and get some rewards, and like, and I can't recall if RuneScape was ever like this, but one thing I liked about what some other games would do is they would add a bit of a grind to, like, if you want to get some of the cosmetics, like with World of Warcraft, they'll have like the Halloween event, and you can get a group together and go fight the Halloween boss. Mm-hmm. And there's a chance to get some like cosmetics and stuff. Like, some of it's rare, but I always had fun when, it's like Halloween, I'm going to get a group together and just keep grinding it out and try to get it.
Well, you know, building off that, why don't they just like do it so that I can see where they're coming from, where it's like they don't want to spend like an entire month's worth of development designing like a piece of content that'll only be in the game for 2 weeks, but at the same time, like, why don't they do it so that every Halloween you can do all the previous Halloween events that they've done? Like, a year back they had the Chambers of Eric, which I think was the last big seasonal event before they made them like a lot shorter. So bring those back. We've talked before, like, one of them got made into its own quest in the game because of how fun it was and how popular it was. So, like, if the content is worth replaying, why don't you just make it like a season? Like, I think with Destiny, going back to your example in World of Warcraft, I think there are some dungeons that are seasonal only. If I remember correctly, I think it was Destiny. It might have been a different
Destiny.
Game, but it's like,
it might be. I know what I liked is like you could get these little trick or treat bags, and you would open them up and you'd get different rewards from it. And I was always like, I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to like, I want to get all the cosmetics of this season. And as much as the grind sucks, it is kind of fun and rewarding to get the stuff you're looking for. I don't know. Overall, I thought the event was good, but it did kind of make me miss the bigger events we used to have. But I get why they're not doing it. It takes a lot of work.
I was just going to ask you what you thought of it.
Yeah, it was good. Then again, when I voted, I wanted them to still continue putting a lot of work into these events every year. So
you can't want to
kind of have the unpopular opinion.
That's all good. Let's move on to the Bounty Hunter rework feedback, which also came in with this update. So last week we opened the Bounty Hunter rework beta. Since then we've had loads of feedback and suggestions, which we've started working on. This is Jax, not me and you.
We're behind it the whole time.
Yeah. So this week's changes are designed to address 3 key points. The minigame needs to be more rewarding. The beta doesn't accurately represent the real Bounty Hunter minigame, and loose ends caused by the rework. They want to thank all the players who gave their time to play the beta, and thank the Bounty Hunter faithful for their patience while they're working on this project. So they've revised a couple of points, namely the point system. The feedback they received was that the new point system is not rewarding enough. Wow, I wish there was a podcast that they could have referred to, which said this way back when they first proposed this. I literally said the exact same in the last episode, but who knew? Player bounties.
One day.
We'd like to make the tasks more rewarding by increasing how quickly they cycle and the points they award. They also have feedback changes to tweak the existing tasks and add new ones. Okay. And these will be coming in an upcoming update. And then they have a bunch of individual different things to focus on. So gear chest presets and stats. They've made changes to make the beta a better simulation of Bounty Hunter. Basically, if you play the beta now, they want it to be more realistic in terms of the kinds of loadouts you'll see, because you won't be seeing like max gear in the wilderness too much. So they've limited the number of items and the type of items to ones that you'll most likely be seeing. The pre-built loadouts, which are accessible via the chest, have also been made more realistic, and you can no longer customize your stats at the chest. Instead, we encourage you to use the pre-built setups mentioned above. And they include a little screenshot, and it shows you like what you can see in the beta. So there's like a different set of pures that you can cycle through. So there's pure, Zerk melee, Zerk range, void range, main Darok, and I think that's Darok, main DH, and main Bandos. Special attack pool and spellbook switching. These have been moved out of the bank for accessibility purposes. The reward shop rewards have been tweaked, and their costs have been changed to reflect the new point system, with one exception, which is the rune pouch, which is still waiting on the poll that was in the game recently, regarding making them tradable. And if they are tradable, you'd obviously need them to let players be able to own more than one at a time. Going off on this, rune pouches and looting bags. Because these items are unavailable from the Bounty Hunter reward shop for the whole beta, they've been made accessible elsewhere. Slayer Masters will now sell the rune pouch to non-Ironmen only for 1.5 mil, and the looting bag for 30k. This is a temporary fix and will be reverted at the end of the beta. Do these looting bags and rune pouches get reverted at the end of the beta as well?
I don't know.
Worth mentioning at this point, if you're listening to this, it means that we couldn't solve the technical issues. There's a lot of hammering in the background that we've been
got renovations going on.
Yeah, Casa de la Magpies, am I right? But I was gonna say, is this like, if these changes are in the game now, do they get reverted when the Bounty Hunter like update goes live? Like if I buy a looting bag now, do I lose it when the update goes live? Because otherwise, like, this is super broken if I get to keep these looting bags.
I don't see why you would lose it.
Because looting bags are really useful, especially like just for general purposes. But rune pouches, I guess, are just a convenience thing. You can still buy emblems, worth mentioning, like in the game right now. You can buy a tier 10 off the GE.
You can't own multiple ones right now, right?
No, you can't. But
okay, so yeah, it's not
the reason why this is broken is because you like using the looting bag is the meta for a lot of different like Slayer tasks as well. Like for Cerberus, the best way to kill Cerberus is to go there with a looting bag full of food and supplies, and then the rest of your inventory full of supplies, and then just suicide. And then you have 3 inventories to work with.
You don't lose all the items in your looting bag?
No, so when you die with the looting bag, they just collapse on the ground. So they become similar to as if you just had them in your inventory at that point. They disappear after an hour. So you fill your looting bag with like, say 27 like sharks, and then you have your inventory of like, let's keep it simple and say another 27 sharks, and then you go to Cerberus and you die. Now you have 54 sharks on the ground for an hour.
Yeah, that's smart.
And I think you can do it at Kraken in the non-instance version as well. I think you can do it at Thermi as well. But the Thermi one is not really super ideal. It's just, you can do it, but the big one is Cerberus. And I think you can also do it at Sire.
True. Yeah, Cerberus, I think, is the one that stands out.
Yeah. They also mentioned on the topic of the looting bag, they're going to change the way the drop rate works. Previously, NPCs always had a flat 1 in 30 chance of dropping the looting bag, whereas now this scales with their combat level. So you can expect to get a looting bag from a level 50 NPC with a chance of 1 in 6, and then a level 100 NPC at a chance of 1 in 3. And this is useful because previously, like, the best way to get a looting bag is just, like, get a cannon, get a blowpipe, and, like, blowpipe the thugs in, like, Wilderness Edgeville Dungeon.
Yeah, there's a spot where there's, like, level 2 rats. There's, like, 7 of them. That's where I always went.
Yeah. And lastly, 2 more things. The Ring of Wealth and Magic Shortbow upgrade scrolls. To alleviate the concerns of certain restricted accounts, these 2 upgrade scrolls have been added to the Wilderness Slayer loot table. They also remain in the Bounty Hunter Rewards shop. So you can now... I don't think these are part of Laren's chest, but they're just, like, randomly dropped, I think, from what I can tell. They also mentioned that they also want to make clue boxes accessible elsewhere, likely the Laren's chest in the lower part of the Wilderness. However, there wasn't time to include it in this week's update.
Okay.
And then lastly, Dagonhai robes. So, fashionscapers can rejoice. The Dagonhai robe set has been added to Laren's chest as a 1 in 256 very rare chance reward. So each piece has a 1 in 256 chance when you open the chest, and I think there are 3 pieces, so maybe there's a 1 in 80 chance overall to get a piece. They have some attack and defense bonuses. They have plus 5 magic attack for the hat, plus 25 for the robe top, plus 18 for the bottoms. They don't give any magic strength, but they each give 2 prayer bonus for each piece, as well as some mage defense. They don't give any other stats, though.
So you need 40 defense to wear.
Where do you see that?
Yeah. It says they require 70 magic and 40 defense to wear. And I'm just trying to see, like, why. I'm looking. It's cool fashionscape, but still, Arams. I mean, you need 70 defense for that, but.
Well, the big thing with this as well is that there's prayer bonus with them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So this would actually be good. I'll tell you where this would be good. Probably somewhere like Smoke Devils, where they have magic defense, but you need to pray range when you're doing that task. If you're not killing Thermi, you would burst or barrage regular Smoke Devils. And because they have mage defense, you don't bring in, like, proselyte like you normally would with Necreals or Dust Devils. So this would be a very viable thing until you get Ancestral.
Huh. Okay, cool.
Right
now, the whole set is sitting at 19 mil.
Oh, is that, like, for the per piece or for the whole thing?
For the whole set. Each piece is, the hat's 5 mil, the top 6.7, and the bottom is 7 mil.
Can you pull up the stats for arms real quick and compare the attack bonuses in total for the hat, top, and bottoms for the Dagonhai, and then the arms?
Is that for Arams?
Top, bottom. Yeah. The total magic attack bonus for this is 48.
The total is magic attack is 48?
Yeah,
magic attack is 48. Arams might be 30. Let me just... Oh, wait, no, sorry. No, that's completely wrong. 73.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
73. What? Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. So exactly like 25 magic attack higher for arms.
Oh, but that's including the staff. Let's take off the staff. That's 15 magic attack. That would bring it down to like
58.
58. Okay.
Okay, so this is like 10 magic accuracy worse than arms. So this is still pretty viable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lastly, in other news, players can now paste their passwords into the login screen. Okay, that doesn't sound like a good idea to just like Control-C your password. My question is, where would you like be typing your password if you're following along with like everybody's recommendations of having a unique password for your old school account? Where would you have it typed up elsewhere that you'd need to, unless you like have it in a notepad or something, which isn't really secure?
It could be like I use like a password manager, which is like this program I have on this USB stick, and you just open it up. It has a list of all your passwords, and they're super cryptic, and I can make it so that it'll like copy and paste it into RuneScape if I want.
Yeah, that's pretty okay. That makes sense. Following last week's change to Teleblock, some more spells have been updated so that the game won't let you cast them on NPCs if they can only be cast on other players, and vice versa. So I think like Monster Examine, it won't let you cast on other players, and then Teleblock, it won't let you cast to NPCs. And
Oh, that sucks. I remember there were some videos on YouTube. You got to find them because they're so funny, but someone would be in a PvP world and they'd be doing Monster Examine there'd be two people fighting each other, and then a third person would be just like watching, and they'd be casting Examine Monster or whatever it was called, and it would make it seem like the one dude's helping someone else in the fight. So the other guy's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Because it almost looks like you're avenging them, but it's like a different spell.
So I didn't know you could. I thought if you tried to cast Monster Examine, it just wouldn't let you. It would just say like you can't cast it. So maybe it still works. I was just trying to think of like the first example. I don't know what else you could only cast on NPCs. Reanimate Abyssal Demon Head or something. Just cast that on your buddy.
Yeah, maybe.
Items now correctly appear on the ground if dropped at the top of the steps from Dorgish Khan to the Agility area. Some small pieces of scenery have been mapped down just outside Lumbridge Castle Bank. These help the game navigate you correctly if you click on the bankers while inside the bank. Previously, it navigated you out of the bank to the wrong side of the wall. Pathfinding around the Corinne Castle Bank has also been improved. Yes, thank you. This is really good. There are two other places that I could think of instantly that they need to do this for. And the first one is Lunar Isle Bank. I always get stuck teleporting to Lunar Isle. Because you click on the banker after you teleport, and it just like paths you to the outside, and you're like, really? For fuck's sake. Lastly, players can no longer stall the Nilochus Basilius in the Theater of Blood. Just delay its attack. So that does it for this week's update. And since then last week's update, I should say. Since then, we've had another update, but first, a dev blog, another message about unofficial clients. Dells, if you want to take it away.
Sweet. Where is that?
Should be on the RuneScape.com page.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Here it is. In the week before RuneFest, we published a message about unofficial clients. In that statement, we outlined some of the client's features that we consider to be unacceptable and anticipated that moving forward, we were going to be more proactive to the issue. While exploring exciting options for our own client, it has since become apparent that we didn't provide enough clarity. The list of unacceptable features was too ambiguous, confusing players and client developers. So they basically go over and kind of break down exactly what kind of plugins are not allowed. So to clear up any confusion, here's a detailed rundown. Any features which aid any boss fights by doing any of the following are prohibited, and this includes all raid sub-bosses, slayer bosses, demi-bosses, and wave-based minigames, including the Fight Caves and Inferno. So these features could be the next attack prediction, timing or attack style. I know RuneLight had a Jad plugin that would tell you which one to pray.
Yep.
Projectile targets or target locations as well as impact locations.
This would be
Lizardman
like the
Shaman?
Lizardman Shamans. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Prayer switching indicators. I guess that's more of the Jad thing they were talking about, but I guess it's two of them combined. Attack counters. So with Hydra, if you had something that telling you when 3 hits have been made.
Yeah.
Anything that indicates where to stand or not to stand. I know there was a Zulrah helper for a while. Removal or swapping of menu entries of any entity. So that's an interesting one because I know RuneLight had one for a while.
Yeah.
In addition, the following menu changes are prohibited. Any menu modification on worn and equipped items. Any addition of new menu entries which cause actions to be sent to the server. And the following interface changes are prohibited. any unhiding of interface components, such as the special attack bar and including the minimap. Any movement or resizing of click zones for 3D components. Any movement or resizing of click zones for any interface or component under combat options. Inventories, worn equipment, prayer, and spell books. I wonder if this means for that last one, if like, because you used to be able to remove the defense option on your account, so you didn't have to, so for if you played a pure account, you wouldn't accidentally train your defense.
Yeah, I think this would remove it.
Yeah,
I've never
so
really had that interface option, so I don't know. But probably would be in here.
Mm-hmm. They have a whole they list a lot more in straight detail. We're not gonna go through it because it seems like it's mostly meant for client developers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the ones that we talked about covers everything, and it breaks down in the dev blog that you can check out yourself on the website. The breakdown is just more specific.
Yeah. It's like those things that you mentioned are like the general overview branches, and these are the things that fall under each branch, just so they can be crystal clear about what is specifically not allowed, which is nice to see.
Yeah. So okay, let me ask your opinion. This might be controversial, but a lot of these plugins that we have that people loved so much, they kind of made the game easier in certain ways. And now that Jagex has said no, we're removing that, do you think the fact that these plugins were a thing in the first place is a sign that there's a lot of things in RuneScape are very tedious, and these plugins made them less tedious? Do you think Jagex should take that as a sign that maybe it's time to update certain things?
I think you're trying to put in your agenda to try and nerf or buff agility experience rates into this.
Oh, I would love that. But I know, like,
from what it sounds like,
I would love that. But for specifically, I'm thinking like blackjacking, which is like, it's the best way to train your thieving for a bunch of different levels. But I've tried it and I hated it because it's so annoying and tedious to do.
Yeah. I think there are going to be like 3 different arguments that people use depending on what the plugins actually do. So you can generally categorize the plugins based on 3 things. The first one is quality of life. These are things that are just convenient. They're helpful. They're like things where they don't influence your ability to play the game or your interaction with the game. They just make it less annoying. So that would probably be menu entry swapper, where it moves the bank option to the left click option for the banker. Bank tags for me is big quality of life. Maybe it'll help you speed up experience rates by like a little bit, but it's really useful, and it won't help you because you can just reorganize your bank to make it so that you don't need them anyway. But it's just something where I like organizing my bank in that way. So that's a big quality of life change. The second category would be things that make certain actions less tedious. So these are things like blackjacking, which is the big one that we saw with OS Buddy, and that's the one you were talking about, where blackjacking is super tedious. It hurts your hands. Things like lava runes. I know OS Buddy has a version which lets you now fill your pouches and do everything from your bank, so you take way less time and less clicks. Those speed up experience rates by a lot. They also make, what's important is not only do they speed up the experience rates, but they make them more accessible, which is a big difference. Because even if something was the fastest experience in the game, if only one person was good enough to be able to do it, it wouldn't be a big issue. But the issue is because they lower that barrier of entry, it's a lot easier for people to start doing these things, which is, I think, an issue that the skilling community would have, because it does, take a little bit of skill to learn how to blackjack well. And when I was going for 99 thieving, I had to do a lot of blackjacking. I did like a combination of blackjacking, pickpocketing, RD Knights, and Pyramid Plunder even before Pyramid Plunder became the best experience, just to switch it up and keep some variety. And what I found is that blackjacking sucked until I realized that if you position your camera in a specific way, you can just right click and insta left click, and it would be like almost as fast as left clicking. And that wasn't like manipulating the client that I was using. You could do it on vanilla client or whatever. It was just, and I would do it on mobile as well on my way home from class or something, where that just comes with learning the content, learning how to do it, and like getting better at skilling, I guess. So that's another category. And then the third category is things that make the game easier. And these are like boss plugins, like you said, the Zara helper, Jad helper, things that tell you where the projectiles from the shamans are going to land. Those just help you because you don't need to think on the fly as much, and you don't need to have as fast a reaction time at that point. So I think the first category of quality of life is okay. I think the issue with cheat clients, quote unquote, is the second and third categories. So things like Demonic Gorillas was in that plugin, was in RuneLite, but I would argue that as a cheat client plugin, it told you everything, to where Demonic Gorillas was a mindless fight. And now, like, I went back the first time after RuneLite took it out, and it was like, damn, I was like dying every other trip because I was just so used to having that help, and it actually like made me appreciate being able to learn the content again. So
Sure.
In my opinion, like, it's nice that they've clarified everything and put it in this way. I want to say also that Mod Bonsai specifically has been shouted out by the RuneLite developer for being so transparent and like working with them nonstop. Like, I assume they've been like in Discord calls and stuff, like being like, okay, is this okay? Yes. Is this okay? No. Okay, perfect. We'll take it out. Is this okay? Things like that. Because it sounds like they've been really upfront, especially with RuneLite, which is nice to see. So that's a really long-winded way of saying well, I guess it's not really unnecessarily long-winded because it is a complicated issue and it is an answer that needs some nuance. But long story short, there's some things that are just generally helpful for everyone to have, and those are the things I think they should consider putting into the vanilla client. And there are things that make the game easier or make it broken that they're trying to address in this dev blog, basically, and figuring out which ones fall into which category.
We say this time and time again, but I'm hoping that this is just another push for them to like, okay, we need to update our client. We need to, update certain parts of the game, but doing so and not in a way where it's like, you don't want to be like RuneScape 3 where there's like, it's so customizable, but you look at the old school RuneScape client now, it's like so stripped down and bare bones.
I don't know which dev blog or where they mentioned this, but they said like we can't give too much away, but we are working on the client in some way, and it makes it sound like they're trying to collaborate. I think it was with a Q&A where they said they were trying to actively improve the vanilla client with some of these like third-party clients and why people use them, and they're trying to take that approach and figure out how they can improve the vanilla one.
That'd be perfect. So
yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the official client situation. Do you have anything to add?
Not really. It's tricky because like RuneScape is such a it's a relic from the past, right? And obviously I don't think blackjacking should be as easy as just single clicking it. But at the same time, like I hope going forward they don't make great experience rates tedious just for the sake of them being tedious. Like I don't know.
Yeah. We'll say that's part of the big allure with old school. Is the fact that it is such a big grind that it makes the achievements worth something. I get what you're saying, and I think the thing that they have to kind of toe the line with is it's clear that they can't keep treating old school like some nostalgia trip anymore, because it's more than that now. And I would say now I've played this game, I've played old school more than I ever played RuneScape, quote unquote, before before the GE was removed, which is like the split between old school, like historic RuneScape, and RS2. That's where people would say like the big cutoff point is. And I can firmly say I've put in way more hours now in old school RuneScape than RuneScape back in the day, and it's not just a nostalgia thing anymore. They're developing new content. There's no such thing as raids. There's no such thing as like the communities we have now. We didn't have a podcast community that we could all like tune into. So the game's growing and evolving, and the communities around it are evolving. And now Jagex has this tough position of trying to keep that old school feel and that nostalgic touch that brings a lot of its old player base back while still growing the game, because it's surpassed the nostalgia. And the game showed like you can't keep it alive with just nostalgia, because the game was dying until they said, okay, we need to add new updates. Here's Zulrah, here's Kraken, here's Monkey Madness 2.
Yeah, we got a bunch of updates and it spiked up, and then they continued to bring out these updates, and more players have been just flooding into the game. And then with old school RuneScape Mobile, the game jumped up a lot, but it does seem like we're back at we're plateaued again.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. We have 70,000 players, which is, if I'm not mistaken, that's what it was. That's kind of like the average it was before mobile was even out, right?
I want to say so. I don't know what primetime, like weekend player base numbers would be comparatively. Maybe that's something we need to remind ourselves to check next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing though is that there are players who are playing the game now who never touched the game before. Maybe they're like young kids, or maybe they just never played it back in the day, and now they're being dragged in. So Jagex needs to find a way to walk that fine line.
It's being able to retain them now. All right, but yeah, that's it for the clients. But let's, Magpie, you want to tell us what we got going on in the next dev blog?
Hell yeah. So this is this week's update. Fitting that we were talking about the mobile player base, because it is the update that marks the 1-year anniversary for Old School Mobile. 365 days on.
Sweet.
They're adding a celebration with Varrock Found being turned into a giant cake. Make sure to pay it a visit and grab yourself a slice. I have a bunch of friends who play only on mobile, and it's very fitting. They, like, a couple of them shared some really nice photos. I have one mobile only friend who, like, went to the fountain and showed his account and had his collection log and all his stats, and he was like, a year of playing and this is what I've achieved. It's always nice to see that kind of stuff. So it's
yeah,
done
that's
a lot
cool.
for the game.
I talk about how like I don't like to play mobile, but I totally forget that there's people who only play mobile. We had someone in the clan chat who completed every single quest using only mobile, and then after they got the quest cape, they started playing on their PC as well.
Hell yeah. I have a friend who right now, probably like as we speak, is going for the Inferno, and he's a mobile only account.
Holy.
So it's
good
crazy.
Luck to
like
him.
Yeah, it's been tough, but it's just like crazy how players are finding new ways of playing the game, which I don't understand how mobile only players exist. Like, I would be so annoyed if I couldn't do anything on my PC, but
So I'm thinking too, but at the same time, sometimes I get the urge to like, I want to start an Iron Man that I only play on my phone. And I feel like if I were to only play that account on the phone, then I wonder if I would still have that standard of what I expect out of my like play style abilities. Because that's what really annoys me, is when I like misclick a bunch because I'm so used to the PC. But
meet Tinderlytics. My phone locked Ultimate Iron Man. Join us as we forge a journey to complete the toughest task possible.
Playing on a flip phone.
Exactly. To get a Tinder
Playing on a
match.
Palm Pilot.
No. Yeah. Other than that, though, Bounty Hunter changes. Hell yeah, this is like week 4 of talking nothing but PvP updates. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Woo!
Bounty Hunter beta hotspots. We've added 13 hotspots scattered across the wilderness to the Bounty Hunter beta. One of these will be active at any given time, with its border marked by glowing orbs. Killing your targets within these hotspots will yield much higher rewards than usual. To be eligible, you'll need a minimum combat level of 50 and to be carrying a mysterious emblem of any tier. Bounty hunters will receive messages when a hotspot is due to change at 10, 5, and 1 minute intervals beforehand. So, bonus points. For a normal kill, you'll get 3, 4, or 5 points depending on your kill streak. If you kill them in the hotspot, you'll get triple points, so that's 9, 12, or 15. And bounty tasks will give 30 points instead of the usual 10. This does not apply to the milestone task points, though. Emblem bonuses. If you have a kill streak of 2, killing your target in the hotspot will upgrade their emblem as well as your own. Usually only your emblem would be upgraded and the target's would be destroyed. While on a kill streak of 3 or more, both you and your opponent's emblems will be upgraded upon a kill in the hotspot. Does this mean they get to keep it or do they drop it for you?
Imagine. Well, I don't know.
If you have a 2 kill streak and you kill your target, it upgrades their emblem as well. It doesn't say if it would drop the emblem for you or they get to keep it, because previously it's destroyed, so there's no precedent. Usually only your emblem would be upgraded and the targets would be destroyed. That doesn't say anything.
Yeah, that doesn't...
And then, okay, so this is what I don't get. While on a kill streak of 3 or more, both you and your opponent's emblems will be upgraded upon a kill in the hotspot. How is that different from kill streak 2? So if you have killed 2 people before, we need to break this down, and you kill someone in the hotspot, your emblem gets upgraded like normal, and then there's a bonus of their emblem gets upgraded. If you have 3 kills or more, your emblem gets upgraded, and their emblem gets upgraded?
Man, I have no idea. I'm trying to... Why emblems aren't tradable? So that they must have not worded that properly, because could I not just make a level 3 and go suicide a bunch to get my emblems upgraded for free?
Shit.
Right? Something like that?
I don't know. I'm like...
Yeah, anyways.
I think the only difference between if you have a kill streak of 3 or more and a kill streak... Okay, this is what I think. I think I figured it out. So they get to keep the emblem if you kill them, and it gets upgraded for them. I don't understand how that helps you at all, but that's if you have a kill streak of 2.
I get why that would want to bring more people to the hotspot, because hey, I'll bring my emblem because even if I die, it'll upgrade. But that just seems that seems like it could cause issues.
Farming. That could be a farming issue right there.
They must have worded it different. There must be something lost in communication, because that makes no sense.
Because in that case, what would stop me from saying, hey, Dills, I have a 2 kill streak right now. Let me kill you. Let me get a 3 kill streak. And that way you get to keep your emblem and it gets upgraded. And then you're like, sure, I'll just die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we could probably try and reach out.
It has to be, yeah, there must be some weird wording, but yeah, we can definitely check in. Shame we don't have a JMod on speed dial.
Yeah.
Just call them up and be like, answer this. We're mad again. We're mad and confused reading your
confused. Yeah. Dazed and confused. That's my life. Locations. So, as mentioned, they have 13 different hotspots, and basically everywhere that you can think of, which is a place of interest in the wilderness, is a hotspot. So, Mage Arena and the Pirates Hideout, Resource Area. I'm just going to go through them real quick. Rogue's Castle, Lava Maze, Lava Dragon Isle, Anna Carl, Forgotten Cemetery, Graveyard of Shadows, Boneyard, Bandit Camp, Dark Warriors Fortress, Chaos Temple, and the Southeastern Wasteland. And that last one, I didn't realize it was called this, but it's just north of the inn that's outside of Ferox, northeast walls.
Right.
Which is I think where the old Pure community used to go, if I'm not mistaken. That was their big hotspot, and I remember you talking about that once in a podcast.
Oh, cool. Shout out to the Pures.
So, other Bounty Hunter beta changes. Bounty crates. Loot boxes have been added to old school RuneScape in the Jagex store. No, I'm just kidding. To the Emblem Traders store. They cost 5 points each and contain a variety of Peking supplies and occasionally an ornate maul handle or mysterious emblem. They also have given us 500 points to spend whenever we log into the beta to test out the crates and let us know what you think. The following tasks have been added to the list of player bounties. Kill your target without using Chivalry, Piety, Rigor, or Augury. Kill your target with no body armor. Kill your target with no leg armor. Kill your target with no ring or neck armor. Drain 50 of your target's prayer points using Smite before killing your target. Deal at least 150 damage using melee before killing your target. Deal at least 150 damage using range before killing your target. And then the same thing, 150 damage using magic. The task requiring you to kill a target without the use of prayers was changed to without the use of overhead prayers.
Cool.
So I guess they're splitting it up now between Chivalry, that task, and the overhead one. Bounty Hunter players will now be assigned a new target within 1 minute instead of 2. And finally, the Emblem Trader will now look for archaic emblems in your bank as well as your inventory, which is the old version of the Bounty Hunter store emblems.
Cool.
Halloween merch. Halloween would not be complete without a black cat or two. Check out these Bob the Cat and Evil Bob limited edition pins on their merch store. And in other news, PvP World Rotation is switching over. Who gives a shit? Members only last man standing world. What was that?
No, I was saying the people who do care that they'll go find the world it's changed to.
It's just switching over to period B.
Yeah.
So I assume that people who are interested in PvP worlds, in all seriousness, like the reason why I don't think they need to keep mentioning this is just if they only have 2 rotations and you're that invested in PvP worlds, you'd probably have them off by heart, I would feel like at this point.
Or even don't stick them in dev blogs, because I don't think someone's gonna like. You should be able to go on the site even and maybe be like, click on PvP news and this is the rotation it's on, or I don't know, in a more visible way instead of having to sift through a bunch of dev blogs to see where they threw it in.
Yeah. Can you imagine if there was like they'd redesigned the website and there was like a section of PvP only news and PvP only news and like skilling and quests, and you can leave comments on them with your account. You'd go to the PvP one, and it's all just like racist slurs.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah. Members only last man standing is now World 492 and will return to World 317. So it's now a US world, and it will return to a UK world in 2 weeks when period B ends. Similarly, a non-member's last man standing world has moved from USA to UK world for the duration of period B. I never really knew this until I like actually thought about it, but basically the rotations are just switching the location of PvP worlds from one region to the other.
Yep.
So that's what rotation A and B are for. The click zone at the top of the ladder in Motherlode Mine has been improved. Bounty Hunter interface should no longer appear in games of Last Man Standing. More useful information is now given when using grape seeds on patches that don't accept them. The player-owned house notice boards will now remember your chosen sort order instead of defaulting to the alphabetical order every time. They fixed a grammatical error in the Halloween event. They fixed one in the Combat Tutors dialogue. They renamed the leg piece of the Anku set to become Anku leggings for consistency with other items in the set. And the agility experience for picking up penguin suits has been made consistent with the experience for picking up toy mice. So that is it for this week's update.
Very exciting. It's been, a lot has happened, while at the same time not a whole lot has happened.
Any big feedback for the beta so far?
It's fun. I don't know. That's what kind of made me wanna. Like I said, I was getting bored of my main account, and yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where it's maybe time to focus on another account for take a break from my main.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the what I'm trying to say is that PvP, the tournament world, is where I was dicking around on it, and I was like, shit, I want to play my pure. But it's fun if you want to go and mess around with PvP stuff. It's great. I always enjoy jumping into the tournament worlds when they're available.
Hell yeah.
But I guess that's it, isn't it?
Yep. That is it for this week's update. It's nice because we finally have an update where it's not like, wow, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks. We have a 4-hour episode with all these
I know.
massive updates, but yeah.
It's so early on in the show, which is kind of nice because like breaking down the fourth wall a bit. The whole editing process when it's like a 3-hour one, especially when I got school and stuff, I'm like, oh man, this is a doozy. Anywho, did you see anything going on in the community? I didn't.
So the big thing that I saw is just an upsurge in posts about account security and a bunch of people getting banned.
Right. Actually, I did see some YouTube videos. 2 of them, actually. It was Eevescape.
Yep.
And who was the other one?
I know about the Eevescape one.
Oh, Solo Mission. And he was banned as well.
I don't know who that is, to be honest.
What does he do? I recognize the name. Don't necessarily follow the videos too much. It seems to be just does like a variety of different videos, like from PKing to Deadman mode to similar to what the YouTuber Rendy does, where he tries to get world records with low combat accounts. Yeah, pretty much that. Well, I guess I'll start off with the solo mission story. He found a great way of making lots of money, and it was from buying the Revenant relics. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
So the Revenants drop these relics, which can be worth like 6 mil or 12 mil or something. There's a couple of them that are worth different money, but you can trade them, or you can also exchange them to someone in the wilderness, and they'll give you that money. So what you can do is you can look in the auction house and buy, let's say the 5 mil relic. You could buy it for like 4.5 mil sometimes. It's really hard to, but you have to like be really watching the market. And then if you're willing to risk it, you go to the wilderness and trade it in for money. So he was doing that a bunch, and he was making a shit ton of money, and then he got banned, presumably because a lot of money was being transferred over in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And eventually he got unbanned. And yeah, same thing happened with Eevescape, right? That's what you're familiar with. That's the story you're familiar with.
Yeah, I know he got banned. I don't know. Do you want to recap the video?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, both of them have videos talking about it, but Eevescape, he's doing his own pseudo group Iron Man series where him and a couple people are basically doing their own group Iron Man. And he was killing, I think, just a blue dragon, and then he disconnected, and it turned out he got banned. And that was a weird one because there was like no reason that he should have been banned because he wasn't doing anything sketchy. And he reached out to Jagex, and he got unbanned. And he said a big reason was because, one, he was streaming, and then two, he's also kind of he's a known RuneScaper, so that helped him to get unbanned as well. Whereas if this was a normal person, you know what I mean? Like if you might still be banned, right?
Yeah. You mean it helped him get unbanned? No.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there, and then he made a point in his video being like, I was able to contact a JMod directly and tell them like, hey, can you look into this? They looked into it and unbanned them, but like even like yourself or like myself or anyone who's listening, we can't just message a JMod and say, hey, I got banned, can you look into it? I mean, sure, you can message like Mod Ash because he responds to everyone, but we don't have that connection with Jagex for them to be like, yeah, I'll do you a solid and I'll take some time out of my day to see why you got banned,
Yeah.
So he kind of points out that him being a YouTuber and a streamer was able to kind of get Jagex to look into it more immediately, which is not, it's good for him, but he was saying it's not good that there's no other way for him to get customer support.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that point, I saw a bunch, like an uptick of players like account security posts on Reddit, on Twitter, where it's like, it's gone to be a meme now where if your account is locked or, if someone hacked your account or something, the only way to recover is to actually use Reddit or Twitter to contact Jagex because player support is like non-existent, which is a bit of a meme. Like, I know they've gotten better at it, but a big reason why they released the dev blog that they did this week in the fall and the original one is because there is that perception where the only way to get your account back sometimes is to complain on Reddit. So Eevescape got banned, and he got his account back because he's a streamer. And just a couple of days ago, someone else showed that he got banned for an infraction that they did in 2006 that they were previously unbanned for. And then the system, I guess, automatically redetected that they were permanently banned and reapplied their permaban on their new account.
Oh man, that's nice.
So,
well, yeah, I don't know. Luckily they did say over the course of this upcoming year as well, they're going to be constantly updating the way they handle player support. So keep on them, and hopefully we'll have an actual working support system.
Yep. That's pretty much it, I guess, for the community stuff.
Yeah, that's all I had seen as well. And of course, sometimes we miss stuff. So you guys can let us know. You can email us, let me know on Discord. If there's something that you see that's interesting, you want to hear us talk about it, you can definitely do that there. Anywho, normally this is the part in the show where we go and take a stroll back in time, talk about what updates are happening this week in 2001. But the reoccurring theme for the past couple of weeks is nothing happened. But
Yikes.
Rest assured, next week we do get an update. Well, spoiler alert, but it's there. And then normally we would segue to lore, but as I had mentioned, we've been pretty busy. You can probably tell that the show isn't coming out straight week after week right away. It's kind of going a little bit longer. Just school's been a bit busy, so until things slow down on my end, we're gonna skip lore for now. But we will be back because we do have to finish Theater of Blood. I left it on Lady Verza. Can you believe that?
Yikes.
I know. But we can move over to the Grand Exchange, where we can kind of tell you what we got going on in the show. First thing is first, it's Audible. You get a free month and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/wild. They have a lot of great books. I was reading the book Swan Song, but kind of fizzled out. It's a long book, and sometimes I get it's a little daunting to start a book that's like over 1,000 pages. I don't know. I don't know if you have that issue, but like I'll have that with like TV shows too. It'll be like we were watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it's like it's a great show, but it's like 15 seasons and it's still going, and I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna take a while.
Yeah, I'm currently re-listening to the Harry Potter series, Stephen Fry, based on, because last week you were talking, you gave your usual Audible plug, and I think I mentioned something about Harry Potter, or the week before, and I'm re-listening to the Harry Potter series. I'm also re-listening to the Sherlock Holmes series.
Oh yeah, is it any good?
Yeah, well, Sherlock Holmes is my favorite book series of all time. Stephen Fry is my favorite audiobook narrator. And then also, I used my one free book on Audible for Gucci Mane's autobiography, which I've been listening to here and there as well. So that's been a nice little read through. Yeah, I can recommend it. It's pretty candid. Like he talks, there are a bunch of different stories that he brings more detail on. So cool. I like it. It just depends on if you like his music or if you're interested in like the hip hop scene and if you want to like figure out stuff that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, I guess that helps a bit. Yeah, audibletrial.com/wild. You can check any of those out. Or you can support the show directly by going to patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. And our lovely supporter of the week is Jesse Chew. Sorry if I don't pronounce that properly, but Jesse Chew. Yeah, thank you so much for supporting the show. It's always fun to do this almost every single week. But complications happen, as I've been mentioning with school. But yeah, thank you very much. We can't thank all of you guys enough for supporting the show. It's been awesome to see the amount of support we've been getting. But not just on our Patreon. We actually got an email from Harrison. And he says here, hey, this is probably a dumb email to get, but I just want to let you know, you guys, you know that I've started listening to the podcast now while I'm at work. It makes my day go by faster and easier. I love OSRS, and I have a lot in common with you guys, and it seems you love to hear your takes and stories. Currently on the 14th episode, but I will most likely be listening through all of them and then keeping up with you guys. I really like stuff so far. Even though what I'm currently listening to is the old stuff, since it's from like 2 years ago, can't wait to catch up on the show.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they write off one of the main characters, and the show goes downhill.
It's crazy. You didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
But sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say thanks. I was just gonna say, yeah, thank you for the email. I thought it'd be fun to. I like the idea of it taking like a year to get through all the episodes and then revisiting this email that was written.
That's a pretty cool. It's like a time capsule that you leave to yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Currently, it is October. No, wait, sorry, it's November 5th. Holy crap. 2019. 8:41 p.m. There, we'll get straight to the minute. Hope my account doesn't get hacked.
That's the kind of like that's the stuff they need, in like the dev blog where they say the information you need is highly specific. You could just be like, yeah. I was recording a podcast at this time. This is my account.
Mod Ash is listening. He's like, oh no, that idiot. Yeah, that's about it. So, which means we're gonna drop everything. All the social media stuff. If you want to hang out with us in game, it is WildCC. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our Twitter is @thewildernessrs, and our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Magpie, you got anything to throw out there this week?
My Discord is always open. I'm always happy to get DMs, any questions. I like hearing about the emails that you guys send, so more emails is always good. It'd be nice if we got a couple takes about like opinions on some of these updates, especially like filling in the blanks where you and I have no idea what they're trying to say in a dev blog or something. But give us your feedback, or if you have any questions. It's nice to like go over what you guys are up to, or if you guys have any questions about the game. Always happy to help.
Oh yeah, I agree, and emails are always fun, and it's maybe we can get the everyone together to put their heads together and try to decipher some of the wording they do in their dev blogs, see what the hell they actually mean.
Yeah, Christ.
I haven't been streaming at all. I would like to get into it, but again, it all depends on how much time I have. If you want to follow my Twitch, it's twitch.tv/thedills, and if I do start streaming again, it'll be on there. But not sure entirely. That being said, our song of the week is going to be Grimly Fiendish. And it was the music track that is unlocked at the Grim Reaper's house during the 2014 Halloween event. It was originally released in 2007. And it may be a reference to the English gothic punk band The Damned's 1985 song Grimly Fiendish. It might be. Who knows? Yeah, cool. Awesome. I think that about does it this week for us.
Yeah.
So
it's our time up.
It is. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the flip side.
Well, the next one will probably be the Twisted Leagues episode. I'm so excited for that.
Hell yeah. We'll do
Sweet.
it.
All right. Hopefully it doesn't suck. It might. Bye.